To kind of round off this episode, let's go ahead and preview the U.S. Women's National Team Canada semifinal. So, the U.S. and Canada, that's been a rivalry that's existed since the beginning of WOSO time, which has been probably 20, 30, maybe 40 years from now. And it's always been a rivalry that's been very dicey. It's very intense, especially when it comes to CONCACAF play and tournament play. Usually yellows are given out on quite a frequent basis. It's usually at least 2 or 3 per team if my stat research is correct. And I don't expect this game to be very much different from that. I expect it to be very par from the course, especially given the stakes of this game, which is going to be win or go home. There's no second leg. There's just this game, the semifinals. You either win or you pack your bags up and fly back into North America. So both teams are going to be on edge for this one. If I had to predict a score, my guess is that the U.S. will end up winning 2-1. I think with the U.S. beating the Netherlands and actually performing pretty well, it's going to give them a lot of a mental boost in order to get them over the line. And I don't see Canada scoring more than a goal in this game, given how they've played this tournament. The most they've scored is 2 goals. Can't remember who I believe it was 2 they scored against Chile, and Janine Becky had the double in that game. But Canada doesn't really score very highly statistically, at least in this tournament. And they do this thing where they don't exactly have a ton of possession either. I think the most possession they had in this tournament so far was 50%. And I believe they split that with Japan earlier on in group play, if I'm not getting my groups mixed up. So the goals are going to come from, I would imagine, Janine Becky or Christine Sinclair, because they have both scored in this tournament. But I don't expect them to just be a powerhouse and a force to be reckoned with. Having said that, the U.S., like I said, has been pretty weak defensively, and I don't expect that to change this game. So I think Canada's going to score at least 1 goal this game. I don't think that the U.S. is going to give them much more than that, but there could be a chance. And like I said, it's going to be up to the attacking side of the equation to really bump up and really pick up the slack, I guess you could say. However, my prediction could totally be wrong. The U.S. could perform amazing and get a clean sheet, but I don't think that's very likely or really reasonable to expect at this point, given the last few games. So I think that the U.S., given how well they played last game, which it wasn't like a crazy outstanding performance, but it was at least on track, I think that they're going to score a couple of goals and end up coming out on top on this one. I don't expect it to go to extra time or penalties. I think this will be decided in regular time. A little bit of fun here. I think that I want to take some bets on how many yellow cards are going to happen between the two teams. Shout out to ABossLily on Instagram for bringing up this question to my attention, which was how many yellow cards do you think are going to be given out between the two teams? If I had to guess, I would assume Canada is going to get 2, and I also think the U.S. are going to come away with 2, and Lindsey Horan's going to get 1 of them. The reason being is because, like I said, this is a very intense rivalry that gets pretty dicey. Players are very aggressive. Players get chirpy with each other, and stuff goes down. And the thing with Canada this tournament is every game so far, they've had at least 1 yellow card, if I'm not mistaken. There might have been 1 game where they didn't have any, but in every other game, they've had 1 or 2. So I expect that trend to continue for the remainder of this tournament, whether this be their last game or if they beat the U.S. and qualify for the championship. So some food for thought there, but that's kind of a little fun bet I like to take. And I also am trying to mentally take stock and bets on how many goals the U.S. is going to have disallowed due to being offside, just to kind of, for a bit of banter and just to poke a little bit of fun into the situation. I'm going to guess it's going to be at least 2. Just being par for the course. I think total, the number of times they'll be offside is probably 5, but we'll have to see and find out. But like I said, my score prediction is going to be a 2-1 U.S. victory. It won't be an easy victory by any means. Canada, I think, is going to put on a good show, and both teams are going to be at each other's throats. So, my friends, I want to know, what are your score predictions for the U.S. and Canada game? Any red card, yellow card, or disallowed goal predictions, whatever you think. Jump down in the comment section below and let me know whatever your thoughts are.